Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at the 3 to 5 player game, The Crew Mission Deep Sea, published by Cosmos Games. In this game, who cares? Basically, this is a trick-taking game that is cooperative, that you're going to play over 50 missions of increasing difficulty, and you're going to cooperatively try to complete these missions. So let's go ahead down to the table here. And I'll give you a general overview, just an overview of how the game is played, and we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is the Crew Mission Deep Sea. If you play Crew Quest for Planet 9, this game is very, very similar. What you're going to do is you'll get your communication token, you'll get your little card here to put in your hand when you put out a card. You're going to get your distress beacon. These are going to be your goals, and here's the deck of cards. And basically what you're going to do in the Crew Mission Deep Sea is you're going to go through, has a nice rule book and separate log book. You're going to go through this log book, and there's 50 different missions, and basically what you're looking for in the mission is going to be, to boil it down, is going to be this number right here, and sometimes you're going to have that number plus five, I think has one, no, plus bolded text that you have to do in addition. So you're going to take a look at that, a little red task on the right here, you're going to have in addition to this number. So what that means, you're going to read whatever that is, and that's going to be your objective that you have to meet to complete the mission. You're going to take that number, so let's say we had a 5. And you're going to place, you're going to place cards out here until you exactly equal 5. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the player count. So if there's 3 players, this is a 4-point card. If there's 4 players, this is the 3-point card. If there's 5 players, this is a 3-point card. So let's say I didn't put that 1 out just to be lazy, and it's a 4-player game. So here's my 5 points, 2 and 3. I will then flip these cards over. And these are what we have to do in addition to potentially anything else. So this one here states I will win fewer tricks than the commander. So the commander can't take this one. And this one says I will win 0 tricks. Now this is a trick-taking game. And what you're going to do in a trick-taking game is when you have these different colors, which are 4 different colors, 1 through 9, and you have these trump cards here. Whoever has the 4 trump is the commander. They get this thing. And they get to choose these cards first. Now you're allowed to pass, and then it goes in turn order, and everyone else could pick to take one of these. If there ends up to be enough, it has to be evenly distributed. So if there's 4 players and there's 4 of these objectives out, everyone has to at least take one. But unlike the original one, you can pass. The commander isn't forced to take it. So in a trick-taking game, what ends up happening is when you play, let's say, the 9 of green, which is the highest number, all the other players have to play the green. If a player doesn't have a green, they can play a different card, including a trump. So whoever has the highest number will, of the color that was led, will win that trick, with the exception if trump was thrown. If trump was thrown because they don't have that color, the player with the highest trump number will win that trick. Now, this is a cooperative game, so winning tricks you're going to want to figure out. Like when I take this card, if I take this card, I don't want to win any tricks. So I want to figure out how in my hand that I want to be able to play out these cards and never win any. And I can't communicate to the other players any of this. However, I do have a way of quietly communicating with this token. And the way that works is when I pick one of the cards out of my hand, which can't be trump, and I place this down. Now, this is a bad example because it's a 1, so we'll do this too. I can say, put it down here and say it's my lowest card of that color. I can put it here and say it's my only card of that color, and I can put it here and say it's the highest numeric value that I have of this color. Once I place that down here, I put this card in my hand to remind me that I have a card down here. After this card leaves, this token gets flipped over to red because I can only communicate once. Now throughout the the game at different missions. Sometimes you can't communicate, or sometimes you can't communicate until a certain point. The other thing players have available is before the game gets going, you can flip the distress token off and everyone picks a card from their hand and passes it to the player on the left. We don't use that too often. If you do use that, you're supposed to also mark that in the logbook itself. That, in a very quick nutshell, is the idea of what the crew mission to deep sea is. Let's go head back up to the table here and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so if you like the previous crew game, you're going to probably like this game. However, there is not a whole lot different between this version and the previous version. So if you have the previous version of the crew, it may or may not be worth it to buy the newer version of the crew. If you had the original version of the crew and you just wanted a little bit more replayability, like you've played it a lot, then I'd highly recommend picking up this game. This game here solves a lot of the replayability with flipping over those objective cards. And one thing I didn't mention, which is in a suggestion in the rule, which I highly recommend doing, is when you flip over the cards and you complete your mission or whatever, don't put those cards back in the deck. Set them in the game box, put them out of the game, and that way, every time you do a new mission, you're going to get new objectives, new fresh feel to each of the missions that you're taking. So that's a really cool optional role that I recommend that you make not optional. If you've never played the crew before and you love trick-taking games, this game you definitely want to check out. This one I think would be the one that you would pick over the original, just because of they fixed some stuff in there, and basically the replayability is a big key on this. If you're going to play this, which if you love this, you're probably going to play this a lot. It's really nice when you go into a new group of people that you don't have to be like, okay, we're going to do the first mission, we're going to take a trick, and it's going to be some card color. And here it's going to be something cool. So it's going to be different every single time you're going to do it. It's going to feel like a challenge, even if you play the game a lot, because you don't know what combinations that you're going to get out there. You're going to have to think them through. It's a really good strategy, cooperative, trick-taking game. So I would say that if you love trick-taking games and you're interested in the cooperative trick-taking game, this game is definitely the game you want to check out. And that's my thoughts on the crew Mission Deep Sea. Thank you for watching.